Welcome to the Alternative Football Panel. I am your host, XFL Mike G, and joining us for the last week of the UFL season, we're going to wrap up the championship game. Of course, is my producer over here, Rick 8-Bit, this way. Wave to everybody, Rick. Royce, a.k.a. Viking Wax Press. Matty Ice will be joining us shortly here. Mike T-Bell directly behind me. We'll be calling him T-Bell to avoid any confusion. And John over in the corner over here. How's it going, everybody?
Good.
All right. Well, we have two special guests that'll be joining us tonight. They're going to be adding them as soon as they both join up. So, Rick, as soon as they're both ready, let me know and we can add them ASAP. There are two guests that everybody across the UFL should know about. One that you're extremely familiar with, one that you will be. Our first super fan is going to be. We have a lot of people on stage. Brahma Babe right there.
Hey, guys.
Very well known. And over here in the corner is 210 Brahmasita, or I'll be calling her Jackie because that's just easier for me to say.
Hiya.
Hey.
Welcome. This is the first time we've ever had guests on this show, and I'm super excited about having these two guests, guys.
Oh, thanks, guys.
It doesn't get better.
Wait, I don't think y'all know what y'all are in for, honestly. Letting y'all know. Be prepared.
And I apologize for my background. I came up with a really cute one today, but for whatever reason, it won't let me download it. So y'all are stuck with my book collection and in my office the way it looks.
And y'all don't know about that book collection, so.
All right, and to get to know these guests a little bit, I've actually known them for a while. I was there at the birth of Brahma Babe before she was Brahma Babe. And Jackie and the Bulls on Tour, which are infamous in San Antonio, they were the heart of the ad campaign for a couple of years for San Antonio. So anytime you saw any advertisement, it was them. Because anytime you saw the Brahmas on TV, you would see these two. Both of them attended, I'm pretty sure, every single home and away game for the last two seasons for the Brahmas. Is that correct, ladies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the season before, the last season, I didn't get to attend. I had all the other personal things that happened, but I got to do like the first couple, and then after that, I went to the last one because that's when I got to sing the national anthem.
And that was cool. That was awesome.
Thank you.
Incredible moment, and I was lucky enough to be there. I was lucky enough to. I say I was embedded with them. I was working for UFL Insider Podcast for the Alternative Football Network. And I was kind of able to hang out with them, and it was very cool to hang out with. It was Jackie, BD, Jay, DJ, and Jorge. Very cool to hang out with. It was Jackie.
Sorry, that was
okay. Okay, I was like, where did that echo come from?
I was trying to get views for you guys. I'm like, I need to get on.
We appreciate the views.
I didn't even share it yet, so we're just gonna roll with it. But we're gonna talk real quick to Brahma Babe and then Jackie a little bit. Brahma Babe, just tell us a little bit about what you do, who you are, and how this came about.
Well, it came about in 2023 with the inaugural season for the Brahmas in the XFL. Kind of weird, fell into it, didn't go out looking to be a super fan, showed up to the first game. Our seats were taken by ESPN, actually. They put the cameras in our season ticket member seats. So we got a call the night before, and they were like, hey, we can't put you in your seats. We're going to put you in the bullpen. For you guys that don't know, the bullpen was on the one end zone. It's down on the level. They had food, drinks, and it was kind of like a little bit of a VIP area. And we went down there. They did the on-field promos, got called out on the field. Inner crazy cheerleader from many years ago came out on the field, and after that game, people were like, well, who are you? And all I had were horns on my head, a fringe belt, pair of jean shorts, a Brahma t-shirt, and boots. That's it, y'all. That same fringe belt you see today. And we were away, I believe, 3 or 4 weeks in a row, so I kind of started going, well, maybe I need to just kind of bring a persona. And, started thinking about some of the things, and, my experience with football has been very different than what I experienced in San Antonio. So I just kind of went with what I knew, and that was just, happy-go-lucky cheerleader type, high ponytail, having a good time, and Brahma Babe was born. So, it just kind of fell into place, and she's evolved a lot through the years. But just, a character of happiness, spirit, getting the crowd pumped up, trying to elevate the crowd level, the spirit, the fandom. Let female fans know, hey, you can be a football fan, and if you want to wear a jersey, do it. If you want to wear a T-shirt, do it. If you want to get dressed up with horns on your head, do it. Sometimes in sports, it's a little bit of a man's world, and that's changed in the last couple of years from fandom for female fans. But I think in the UFL wanted people to know, hey, it can be just like the NFL, college, or anything else. So, and little girls too, and just be that persona for the female fan. To whether you're a mom, a grandma, a sister, a wife, you can appreciate and relate to.
Awesome.
Yeah, and are you still doing the women of football? Did I get that right?
Ladies of football, yes.
Ladies of football, there it is.
Yeah, so that's kind of like a female fan base, a female Facebook page, and we talk football. It's all ladies, sorry, men, but we're an area where we can talk football. We can help each other grow and learn more about the insides and outs and the X's and O's. We talk about fandom and what we wear. We create this tribe, if you will. So like even in the NFL season, if I travel to Miami, or in the UFL season, we travel to Louisville, or, we've got ladies, hey, we're coming into town. We meet up with them. We take this great picture, and it's just promoting female fandom again in a safe and positive environment.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I love it because there's nobody to go, oh, you're wrong. No, it's this. No, it's this. And almost slipped. Brahma Babe has been following football for quite some time. You just want to add the first team that you follow there, because we were kind of talking about this before you guys joined us about USFL and stuff like that. Renee, who is your first? Who is your first USFL team? Sorry.
So I would have to say that would have been the Jacksonville Bulls.
Nice.
My family had season tickets. Yeah, I am saying a lot there because that was in the 80s. Yeah, we were Jacksonville Bulls season ticket members. So I remember going to that team's games as a kid, and that kind of streamlined and kind of started the role for the Jacksonville Jaguars of the future.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, I know Brahma Babe just a little bit, and so I'm able to hang out with her, and we're able to talk football. I mean, we've had chocolate cake together in Arlington. Had some crazy adventures, and you've seen her all across the entire UFL. For the first 3 weeks, she made every halftime show for the first 3 weeks.
Well, just Ludacris and Wale, but
okay,
those were pretty cool.
And of course, I saw you guys on TV this weekend as well during the halftime show. It was you, Brahma Bro, and our other guest, 210 Brahmasita, Jackie. Jackie, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, just like Renee did? I'm sorry, I keep doing it. Like Brahma Babe did. And just tell us about
Superman.
I know, I'm sorry, it keeps slipping out.
My alter ego.
It's hard.
Yeah. I know. Well, it's funny because I call her BB more than I call her by her real name, probably. So I'm completely opposite. But I only followed NFL, and I just, I'm a Cowboy fan, unfortunately. One of my really good friends happens to work for the UFL, so I got to learn about it before the teams ever evolved. He got a job there, and I knew about it because of him, and he's an Eagles fan. So him and I were always at odds. So I was like, are you telling me that we finally get to be like on the same side of something? He's like, yeah. So it was really cool to be able to just watch all the teams form and watch the Brahmas. Like I was working and streaming, watching them pick their players and stuff. It was just so much excitement. And I bought the season tickets just as a thing for my husband and I. We literally started in section 107 at the very top. And by the end of the season, I made it to 108. And then by season 2, I was 108, row 1. Row A.
Row A.
Seat 1 and 2 sitting next to her. Her and I have been day ones. Like we bonded over foam horns because I painted mine yellow. She's like, how'd you do that? And so before we knew it, we had bought the same horns, and her and I remember even having the discussion on Messenger, like, we got to come up with like our own persona names, and her saying, I think I'm going to go by Brahma Babe. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I think I'm going to do Brahmasita. Like, we knew the Brahma Mamas were out there, but I'm like, I don't feel like a Brahma Mama. I feel like that's like for the older ladies, and I'm not that. So her and I came up with names, and that's just kind of how it grew. I never thought or even imagined it would even get to where it did.
Oh.
I never thought I was going to be a part of a podcast or do all the community things or just do any of the things that I've gotten to do. It ruined NFL for me completely. Like, after the first season, I literally have not watched a full game of NFL because I'm like, give me my UFL. Like, I'll wait a whole entire year for it. So yeah, we were lucky enough. Like, I enjoyed being the person that was planning all of our away games. Like, the stories that we have will never be taken away.
Oh, no.
I am branded by our own Jordan Williams. I was the first Brahma to get tattooed by a Brahma. And I get people like, do you regret it? Hell no. This was the best years of my life. Like, I've never had more fun. So this season was very different, losing your team. It's so weird. Like, not, I told Brahma Babe, I will go for however long this thing lasts. I promise I will go to season opener game with you and we'll be at a championship. If there's anything in between, wonderful, but that's what I'm going to do with her forever until UFL no longer exists or one of us is alive. But even then, I'll take your ashes and you could take mine, whatever.
Absolutely. Exactly.
Yeah, so this year was very different. It's different already because the seasons end, and it's like, I have no community things. Like, what do I do? What is life? Football.
And that's something that we didn't really get a chance to talk about, us three, me, Jackie, and BB, about the loss of our Brahmas, because it was very sudden. It was like, when I remember the day, I looked at my phone, Brahmas, I was like, yeah, that's funny, and I'll check it in a minute. I checked it again. I was like, whoa. Check my email. Whoa. That is one thing that I wish Mr. Rapoli would work on better, as a communication, because this was very sudden. It wasn't like, hey guys, we're thinking about it, floated out there. We're thinking about doing this, or at least our Birmingham got a chance. We didn't even get a chance.
Yeah.
Now we understand all that.
I could say some things about it. Like, I could tell you that it was worked on literally till the very last minute, and it wasn't supposed to be something like this. That's why it was so sudden. I don't blame him. Not anymore. I mean, at first I was very upset. Yeah. And my tune has completely changed about the man, especially meeting him in person and getting to talk to him. Like, I understand. I'm not mad at it. I'm no longer mad at it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, I mean, in the beginning when it happened, it was like the rug was pulled out from under us. I mean, I got called in, or I got tagged into a podcast that I don't normally get tagged into. And I was like, why are they tagging me on a podcast off season, blah, blah, blah. And I tagged in and I was like listening, and I was like, okay, nah, until I get Michael appreciates this, until I get excited. I'm not gonna go with it. My work makes me think, credible sites and blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I go to work, I'm doing my thing, and my phone starts blowing up. People in DC, people in St. Louis, people in Birmingham, and I'm getting this call, and I'm finally like, what is going on? And it was just like, holy cow. And I was mad. I was pretty furious in the beginning. I was about, I'd say for 3 months back and forth, walking away from the league and kind of in a not so nice Brahma Babe way.
Fraggle Rock.
Yeah, Fraggle Rock way, pointing the finger and say, screw
ducks.
you guys, because it just, it broke my heart. And then I just, I went back and forth. And then I finally, just was like, okay, I'm gonna stick it out and try to help those people like myself and Jackie, and Mike, we've lost our team, the Panthers, and say, let's give it a shot. Let's see what we can do. Let's support the league, because there's no damn way we're going to get a team back if the league's not here.
Yeah.
Be the pulling my big girl panties and just go with it. And then the next thing was, how do you rebrand, and do I completely rebrand? And so I like Jackie at the beginning, I had no happy feelings towards Mr. Rapoli. I was very mad at the league, but when I finally let the emotion go away and I started to really think about the bigger picture, I started to kind of calm down. And then as I traveled and again, meeting people within the community, the UFL management, Mike Rapoli himself, talking to them asking for my input, I started to see things differently. So I think we both kind of turned our tunes a little bit because we got rid of the gut reaction and we really started saying, hey, we like this league. We like having spring football. What can we do to support and give them a chance? And that's not always easy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and it's awesome for you to make it, you and Brahma Bro, to make it to as many games as you do, and still continue to support the league without the San Antonio Brahmas. Jackie has a little bit of a different situation. She was host of a very popular podcast, as actually one of the inspirations for this podcast, with herself and four other super fans. I call them super fans, and so they had to decide what they were going to do with their format and how that works. So, Jackie, if you could talk about a little bit about the transition from being a Brahmas fan to having that weird green picture behind you.
Yeah. Do not talk about my champs that way. Okay. So yeah, we were literally. They did not defend nothing. I'm sorry. That Audi field is now a King field. Anywho, so we were literally getting ready for the next episode. We actually had AC, our host of the Brahma game. She was actually going to come on the podcast, and then we found out that our team was gone. So we had to kind of like, all right, well, let's give ourselves a week break. And I love to it's going to be a long episode. Be prepared for it because I'm going to go through every season. I'm making videos and they're long. I don't even care. We're going to get copyright left and right. Screw it. And so we had to switch. And then after the last episode, it was just like, I met these guys. Those are my brothers. I just could not see my life not doing this now with them. And it's so weird to say that. I never thought myself of doing this. I still have imposter syndrome. Terrible. But we decided once most of us got over that anger thing, and I'm like, well, why don't we just switch it? We can't get rid of it. Why don't we just switch and watch all of UFL? Because you know what? I want to support my guys, and they're spread out everywhere. I really enjoy watching this. I'm not going to give it up. I'm not going to give it up. And so they all agreed too. DJ moved to DC, so he had his team again. He had another team, and BD and I were just kind of floaters. And I said, I originally started out as I'm going to support Renegades. And DJ and I fought about this literally all season. And it slowly kind of tapered out. It's once I was the Kings, just even watching them just reminded me so much of Brahmas, watching them get built out. And the way I explained it during championship, because there was a girl who's like, why are you a DC fan? And I literally told her, okay, you're a Packer fan. She was wearing a Packer jersey. I go, imagine they took your Packers away. And then they tell you, be a Vikings fan now. That's what DC is to me. That's the way I explain it. That's what DC is to me. Y'all are an enemy. Y'all have always been an enemy. I can't fall in love with you. It was much easier falling in love with a brand new team that I never had. They were never my opponent. So yeah, we switched over. Now we have Snap Decisions podcast. It's very weird because we already had our last episode and now we don't know what to do during the break. He's like, how about we go live when they do the last episode of 4th and Goal? I'm like, bro, I'm not going to go live for that. It's crazy. I'll see you next season. Let's catch you in the chat. So that's kind of where we're at. We're now in the long break and just kind of posting and looking at, who's getting signed right now. And it's cool to watch. It's cool to see, they're already getting picked up at camps. So yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, and it's with a podcast, you've got to be extra aware of stuff like that. And I know that you are very aware of what's going on with the UFL, and not just being a fan, but being a promoter of it. And I appreciate that so much. But just one last thing about your podcast, if you want to reveal who was your picks winner for the season, who was that? Congratulations, Eddie.
Boys. This was it says respect the picks. You'd have to watch episodes to learn about touchdown Jesus in our eyes.
and
Just if touchdown Jesus, he's still safely put away in a Brahma's koozie in a little glass case. And all the information from the Memphis game where we found him, they gave like little flyer thingies during the game. So yeah, he's put away safely.
if the UFL is watching, the Horns Forward podcast, as it was, is a great look back at the seasons that happened in the past. And that actually, the Memphis 8, to me, the infamous Memphis 8, that should be a UFL episode on 4th and 1, or 4th and Go. That is great stuff.
The beer snake. Memphis 8.
The Memphis 8 was, there's just nothing that will be able to recreate that. That was just one of those moments for sure.
Just beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, the UFL does need, y'all need to do that, UFL. Listen.
Listen. I think they do. We'll see. All right, ladies, if you want to continue to stick around, we would love to have you, because we would love to have you talk about your experiences at the championship game this weekend. But we're going to move on and talk a little bit about the game. Like I said, you're welcome to join us, and we do the SAJ 2-finger, when you need some attention, and then we'll call on you. Yep, we got to do it with so many people on the screen, and that was my inspiration. It really was. So, Rick, whenever you're ready to move on, so we can start talking about the championship game that happened this weekend. Wow, what a game. It was everything that a championship game should be, in my opinion. So I'm going to let the guys I'm going to just throw it open to anybody who wants to talk. Thoughts on the championship game this weekend, guys?
I'll go. I think it was a super fun game from either side, whether you're a DC fan or not, because I really have, like the ladies here have had, I was a Breakers fan, then a Showboats fan, and so my teams are gone. Who do I vote for? I vote for the UFL to be good, and it was good. It was a fun game. So the way the game was going back and forth was so good, but the problem was the minute Bean went down, you kind of felt it like, oh man, that was the clincher right there, because now the Kings are just going to roll. So it was fun from my perspective. It was a great game.
John, I know you've got some opinion on that. How did you feel about that game? Besides the obvious.
Well, not happy with the outcome, but you can't do anything about it. But the thing, I'll say this. I think the world of Chris Redman and what he's done is fantastic. And if it wasn't going to be the Defenders, I'm happy that it's the Kings that won that, because he has really, it's such a likable guy. And, I remember the opening game when they lost to the Birmingham, and I was like, I like the moxie in this, as the kids say, in this Kings team. And I could, except for the fact that we lost to them 3 times this year, I was happy to root for the Kings in every other game. Hey, the better team won. In the end, they got the job done. And, it's the DC's credit that they were able to stay in it as long as they could. The defense did a good job for us. The offense had its struggles. 27-20, hey, 3 championship games in 4 years. I'm still happy and proud of the team. So, but when Bean went down, that was the writing was on the wall.
Right.
Yeah, and we'd actually talked about that last week. Remember, John? Because we were like, is it going to be Perry again, or was it going to be Sanders? And it was Perry this time. And I was happy to see they were a little bit more aggressive, but I think they were a little bit too more aggressive initially, and kind of went away from their ground game and their running situation. John, how did you feel about them moving away from the ground game and being ultra aggressive? It seems like they went to comeback mode a little bit too early. What do you think?
I agree with you on that. I think that they should have fed the ball to Abrams and Smith and Deion Jackson and Valladay, who had over 100 yards and a touchdown, and could have had 2 if he hadn't had that fumble in the beginning of the game. So, they really should have continued to do that. And Perry, they went with the right guy. Sanders had made enough mistakes that Perry was the man that needed to go in there. And look, he still had it with a couple seconds left in the game. He still had the chance to try to win the thing. So they made the right decision, but they should have probably ran the ball and just tried to control the clock and not, play catch-up panic mode, which they kind of went into. But that's the Defenders' issue to talk about another day, about their clock management problems.
Yeah, and it seemed like Harris at moments he had a couple of, and I noticed this last week as well, moments where he was indecisive, whether it was the challenge or it was something else to adjust to. It seemed like he was maybe out trying to outthink himself a little bit too much in the last couple of games. But Rick is our panelist who covers the Kings for us this season. Rick, what were your thoughts on the championship game?
Well, I'll say this, going into it, I thought home field advantage would play into this with DC, but we didn't think about the home field advantage for the Kings. They got to choose the uniforms instead of going with the Kelly greens that would be stinking hot. With the sun, they went with the gray, a little cooler. They got to be on the shady side. And watching this game, I felt like I was talking to a buddy, a Tecmo buddy, where it's like you keep on seeing guys getting hurt with cramps and stuff because of the heat and everything. DC in the sun the whole game. We're in the red. So whoever, we all talked about home field advantage, but the home field advantage was where the Kings got to stay and what they wore. Because that, honestly, if that was a different way, I think there would be a different outcome.
Yeah, and both of our guests this weekend were there. How close were you guys to the field? What was it like? And one thing that I noticed about the stands is it seemed like when the sun was directly on them, some of the people were in the concourse trying to get out of that direct sun. What was your experience? What was it like on the field? Either Jackie or BB can take that away.
Our seats are on the field. Basically, we were in F9, so you have your stadium seats, like your club, and then there's these seating sections with 4 rows that go literally by the bars on the field, right on the either side of the benches. So we were on the side of the defenders, yeah, I mean, first quarter, second quarter was hot, but not too bad. Come third quarter, that sun was directly beaming down, and a lot of people were going into the concourses because it was pretty hot and humid. I still think the energy was really great, regardless. But I don't know, Jackie, do you feel like the third and fourth quarter it got a little bit hotter than the first and second? It was
I felt like it was. Yeah, I felt like we baked the entire time regardless, and we got like about 10 minutes of like shade because how you described how DC defenders were, I literally got a cramp the night I got home in my calves. And I mean, I only went, I think I drank 8 bottles of water. I drank like 2 bottles of water every quarter. Her and I, we rarely sit down.
Yeah, we didn't sit down the whole game.
Yeah, it was weird being against her because that's not been my experience either. Being the only kind of like Kings fan amongst everybody else on their side. So I still felt like normal because that's how it was with the Brahmas too. Like it was us against the world. So that's kind of how I felt. But I could see the Kings fans across. They had like a whole little section. Super cool. Yeah, and then Derby really he hung out with he really recognized that I was the only fan there, so he came by several times and he initiated me with a United Bowl big chain. So it was really cool, but it was stinking hot. That heat was terrible. And then they took my umbrella, so I had a hat on, but I still had my rally tie like this. So I'm like, oh my god, I'm like gonna melt. It's so hot.
I wonder, and I don't know if you guys know, because I do have a comparison, because I wonder if this played anything into the defender side, because while DC was definitely hot and it was more humid than what, I would say it was a lot different than even what the guys were practicing, say, at the hub in Arlington in. Mm-hmm. But the week prior, when I went to Daytona Beach and watched DC play Orlando, being a Florida native anyways, it was hotter and more humid. You couldn't cut the humidity there. And the way that Audi Field kind of goes up, Daytona Stadium is not like that. I mean, it's a, you guys saw it on TV, I'm sure. So it's more open, flat. Yeah. Do you think that could have played into DC's condition of going back to back with these two very humid games? Or do you feel that not saying that took away the win, because like you guys, I mean, yeah, the better team won. The better team finished it out. But I just wonder if the environment could have affected play, because both teams, I felt like in Daytona, were a little bit sluggish in the beginning. And I think ultimately Orlando became more sluggish. But I don't know. What do you guys think on that? Because that's just a comparison. While both were very, very hot and very humid, still very different, and both extremely different than what Arlington is, I would think.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, Audi Field is kind of more like sunk in. Like you said, it's more spread out in Orlando. You have more chance for air and everything to get in there. And the way that everything was, just from how I saw it on TV, it was very compact. I mean, and the way the sun is, I mean, you couldn't dodge it. The Kings got lucky because the field was half the time in the shade. So, I mean, they still had to deal with the heat, but at least they didn't have to deal with the direct sun. And it's a little hard to come back. I mean, you wouldn't tell by me now, but I used to be a long distance runner. So I the prep and everything, and there's a big difference between running in direct sunlight in the middle of the day and in the afternoon. So I felt bad for some of these guys, because it was just like, I felt like at one series that was somebody would go down with a cramp, another person would go down, and I felt like it was starting to be like late in the game. It was like every 2 or 3 plays, up someone's down, injury timeout, injury timeout.
Yeah. I mean, I was sitting there, I was like, yeah, this is really, really hot. But the week before, man, I never lose my horns, those little horns that I have on the side of my eyes. They're decals, and I glue them on. And I lost them both in Daytona, and I ended up losing one in DC, but we found it.
That was the funniest thing ever.
Those never, in 4
She's
years,
like, my horn!
3.5 years, they never come off. That's how hot it was. When Brahma Babe loses her eye horns, it's hot.
I have to ask, did Brahma Babe, did you get to meet Matty Ice while you were there in Daytona?
I actually knew Matty from Guardian Days.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
So, but I got to see his squid persona a couple of times in Orlando. This year I got to see Orlando play twice at home and then once in the playoffs. Just for scheduling, one worked out a little better than traveling far away or further away. But I knew him from a couple of years ago, so we got reunited this year with his little squid, and he's definitely a force to be reckoned with as a super fan for Orlando. I love it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think we met at the what was it, the little pregame fest? Is that correct?
Yeah, this season, but initially didn't we meet during a showcase?
Yes, that's where we initially met. Was the Orlando showcase back in 2023? Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, gosh, that seems so long ago, doesn't it?
I know, so long ago.
That was you, SAJ, BB, and those guys, and that's weird how much it's changed since then. It was back in the old XFL days.
Yeah.
But and anybody who'd be the perfect person to ask about venues and environments for the UFL would be Brahma Babe, because have you been to every single UFL stadium?
Yeah, every one of them. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, every one of them, and some of them a couple of times.
Yes.
So yeah, and then being able to compare those to even some of the XFL and the first year of the UFL, stadiums, since they've kind of transitioned to the soccer stadiums. The soccer stadiums, I'm going to say I really do like. They're easy to navigate, most of them. It's a lot of them too, like with regular NFL stadiums, NCAA stadiums, and bigger stadiums like Ford and the Dome and Alamo, you're up in the stands, and you've got that kind of that big depth to the field. A lot of your soccer stadiums, you're not. Those front rows are pretty level with the field. They do have the barricades that go around the walls and things like that, which is kind of like, as a fan, because you want players to jump up in the stands and all that stuff. But it makes it really comfy and personal. It's kind of like when you go to a small venue and see a great band, and then you go to a Alamo Dome and see that same band like 5 years later when they're making billions. The soccer stadiums to me are kind of a nice fit. They're aesthetically pleasing. But again, you can get to everything. Most of them, you can get to your bathroom, your concession stand. You don't go up like, oh my God, Ford Field, those steps, going up Ford Field, those narrow, steep.
The
Oh my God.
stairway to heaven, girl.
Yeah,
That's where I
yes, that
literally
was the
like
stairway to
hurt my
heaven for
ankle
sure.
from walking. I had to like hold everything. And then when I got hungry, I was like, no, I'm not walking up these stairs just to come
Yeah.
back down. I'm gonna
It
have
was
to
a
go up them
quad
again.
workout. So crazy. But
Mm-mm.
yeah,
That's a
I
toilet
love
bowl.
I love the soccer stadiums, and I think the transition has been a good one. Yes, they are outdoors, so yes, you have to deal with the elements. Um, but I think once you, and I'd never been to a soccer stadium prior to this, so that was new for me. But I think it brings a closeness. I think once we get some of these other things figured out and get more but with I'm not going into the attendance thing. I'm just saying more people in that environment. I think it's going to be really nice. It's nothing against the bigger places like the Dome of Americas or Protective Stadium. It's just a different vibe. And I think once you get the vibe of your teams, your personality of your teams, your fandom, it's gonna be amazing because I've seen that in some of the different markets already. Like Orlando's one. I've seen it. Louisville's one. Those are two of the soccer stadiums in newer teams that I felt like there was a really good vibe, a great potential, and something very great to work on and work up.
Awesome.
Yeah, and that's something that we've discussed on this show is the move to the smaller venues means you're paying less to rent these facilities, which means you need less people on a percentage basis to not lose money or to make money, actually. And the move to some of these venues could actually spur the growth. We're not having to pay, for example, and T-Bell's not here. He had to step out due to weather. He's going to try to join back when he can. But renting Ford Field was $500,000 a game, not including for the rest of the production for staff and parking and things of that nature. So these smaller venues, you're able to get cheaper. So I'm not so worried about attendance, but we'll get into that in the off season, guys. So, anybody else want to jump in on the DC Kings game this weekend? We didn't really even talk about the game. Go ahead, Rick.
I just want to throw. Can we just go run through some of their photos from the game real quick?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I sent some of the pictures to Rick, and not a whole bunch because I wanted you guys to talk about these. Yes.
They're the best one. Well, like this one, like I said, Derby came by so much, and it just, as somebody that was like adopting the team and new, it was just such a cool experience. So I couldn't not take a picture with my new buddy. I mean, he initiated
Of all
me,
that
so
hay I had in my pocket.
he was great. He loved me, and I loved him back, and it felt great as as a new fan of the team. He treated me so well. So kudos to Derby. It's forever
I love all the mascots too,
guy.
you guys. The addition of mascots to every market this season has been amazing, and it's been probably one of the coolest things that I think. And they've kept with, and they've gone to every market consistently. Please keep that up, UFL, because that was amazing. They are great.
Yeah, watching him and Monty, even just during the halftime show, like swinging their legs on the 50 Cent stage was just hilarious. And of course, we were lucky enough. The mayor got us all four on the field for the award ceremony and everything. And at the end, I got to finally meet Mr. Rapoli himself. And just so you know, he does not play any kind of part on Twitter. Everything he says is true, that he wants to know. He takes ownership of things. He's learning the business also. And we had a great conversation for the limited amount of time I had with him. He was a very curious person about San Antonio, the market, the fan base, about Austin, about Toyota Field. Like, he asked a lot of questions. And I appreciated him for that. And I thanked him for just kind of breathing new life into the league, because this was, even though I experienced it as a fan of the league and not losing their team, like, I respected what he did and what he tried to build and all the changes he made. I enjoyed it. It was so much fun. It was, out of the 3 championships I've been to, this was by far the best one I've ever been to.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was us meeting him. That's just her. You know, Bravo, babe.
Those are the
And by the way, happy belated birthday. You know, it fell on your birthday, and I was watching your journey. You trying to get to the game after delays, and things of that nature. I was like, oh, what a birthday! But you got to celebrate it on the field with 50 Cent.
Absolutely.
So
That was fun. Thank you.
now I wanted
this is
Jackie to talk
something
about.
new.
Oh yeah.
Yes, talk about these patches.
This is something cool that they did. I saw a heat press there, so I was like, oh, I wonder if they're maybe heat pressing jerseys or something. But no, if you bought a hat, you had there was an option for this patch and another one, a little bit bigger, so it took up more of the side panel. But you could choose one, and they burned it right. You know, they did it right then and there for you, and they tell you wait about 5 minutes till it cools down, and it's just a cool little idea that they did. But you could add it to any of the hats that you purchased. Was this cool little patch? So that was something super cool.
Yeah, I'll throw this out. I miss having something like that on the jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
You know, every single time. I mean, look at the NBA Finals and stuff like that. They have stuff on them, and the fact that they didn't have it, it took it. You know, it was a special game and everything, but I miss not having that. I'm old school. There was no end zones. They had a screen print them in basically. So I mean, if they had that, I think that would just been a little extra on a sweet touch to it.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that this patch can be put on anything, which makes it a special commemorative. So they didn't have to make a specific run of championship hats. So they could put that patch on the different hats, and that makes it a collectible right then and there. So that's awesome. I love that idea. But go ahead, Jackie. You want to finish up on that?
Oh, Bravo Bay with her balloons.
I don't know. I'm holding my fingers up. Hey,
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see you.
No, that's okay. Just to add to let you guys know too, in Orlando specifically, and League, if you're listening, in Orlando specifically, they have these kiosks set up within the stadium that have heat presses. So, hello, UFL, get those jerseys there. Have the opportunity to heat press a name on the back. They do it at the NFL draft every year when these guys get picked. You could do something like this, and I know I didn't see it anywhere else, but Orlando, I know. I don't know if you've seen it, Maddie, but Orlando has these little things around their stadium that they use for their soccer team to heat press. So,
get on it, Rapoli.
Yeah, but it was such a great addition and a great memory to have of that game. This is, of course, we shook our tail feather the entire time. I know we heard that it wasn't as good as what we heard. As far as the broadcast, you heard background more than you heard him. But in the stadium itself, it felt like a concert. I could barely hear them. I heard him most of the time, but the setup, the whole moving stage, the guys that sat next to me was like, hey, I'm part of the halftime show. I'm like, what are you doing? And he's like, I can't tell you. I'm like, oh, okay. So he was one of the guys that pushed 50 Cent to the main stage. So the concert was just amazing. It was like, I forgot I was at a football game for a hot second. But they definitely let on a whole lot more people on the field. I wasn't too upset because we were already on the field and we still had really good seats to see him. So it was such a good halftime show.
It was the best sounding one. I heard Wale, I heard Ludacris, and I heard Gucci
that
Mane.
Country dude.
And
you heard the Country dude too and Renegade.
Oh yeah, and the Renegades one. And this by far had the best sound in stadium.
And I think the problem they had with that is the audio that they were feeding to the speakers that they had on the field was not being fed into the UFL's broadcast. So it was kind of relying on the rest of the microphones to pick up what was coming off the field. And you guys kind of touched on it last night, but it seems like they need to do a better job of coordinating that. But I really feel it was like mainly just the feed, the audio, that direct feed that was coming out of the speakers needed to go directly to the UFL's broadcast. But anyway, awesome halftime show. The best halftime show in UFL, XFL, or USFL history, I think.
Definitely.
For sure.
Oh, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Rick.
Speaking of that, I did like what I know you girls didn't see it, but they actually did have the coach of Dallas in studio, and they did like a little recap and a halftime show, and I really appreciated that. It really kind of elevated everything, and I thought that was fantastic. I hope they do more stuff like that again. Honestly, take one of these coaches, maybe has a broadcast deal or something, put him in, and it just added just a little extra element. And it made it really feel like a big game atmosphere.
And Neuheisel's such a pro at that too, man. He was just automatic. So if he ever quits coaching, he should go right into the UFL broadcasting team. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they selected Roddy White. I enjoyed his analysis throughout the season. Some of the players are kind of hit or miss, or some of the players they should definitely keep away from the pad where they're drawing out the plays and stuff. There's one guy, and I'm not going to say who. Jackie happens to be a fan of him and met him this weekend, but he's called the plays the exact opposite of where they were drawn up. He's like, it's supposed to be a run this way. Oh, those are passed that way. And it wasn't an RPO read. He just had everything inverted and backward. All right. I mean, as much as I love talking about the game, do we have anything else going on, Rick? Because I know I'm a little bit behind on things.
Not much. We have a stamp of approval we could get to.
Okay. For those of you who are new or unfamiliar, Royce does our stamp of approval. He creates these digital cards to honor and reward the superfans. Go ahead and take it away, Royce.
Okay. Well, my stamp of approval for that game specifically, I gave the player of the game to Keaton Ellis, who is a cornerback. Sorry, maybe he's a safety. He's a defensive back for the Kings. He had the punch out of the ball. I think it was Valadie was running it. So that was kind of the tide turner, I would say, for the whole game. Not only that, he had a sack, which is, for a defensive back, he had a TFL, that forced fumble, and I think 3 or 4 tackles. He was just dominant on the defensive end. So super fun. He has been good all season long, and that whole defensive back for them with Corey Mayfield and then Dantzler and him, just super strong at DB. So I think he was a big difference maker. I know they had a big offensive game too, but I kind of wanted to give the defense was so strong all year. I had to give the defense some real credit. So that's who I gave my player of the game to. All right.
Yeah, and I was wondering if it was going to be him or Gil, perhaps, but definitely an excellent choice. That run was like a 55-yard run or so, 42-yard run, and right before he gets into the end zone, knocks that ball out. It's recovered. But yeah, tremendous. I love these cards, and we'll see more of this stuff as the season goes. And Royce, and we might touch on it a little bit later, but he's also making these digital cards for players that are going from the UFL to the NFL. But it's probably more than it's ever been at this point in the season. Would you say, Royce?
We had 12 over the last 2 days, so that's pretty huge. And so at this pace, we're going to have, here's a couple examples. Lucky Jackson is going to Detroit. Hakeem Butler, Offensive Player of the Year, is going to Denver. And then I think we've got Major Burns for the Gamblers. He was awesome. He's going to the Dolphins. And Sean Wade is heading to Philly. So that's 4 out of the 12 over the last 2 days. And the cool thing is, I think the first 4 guys that signed yesterday were all UFL players, like top of our league. So it's great seeing the progress actually pay off. I love it. Very cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a busy offseason, and it's been a lot of them right away. Usually it kind of takes a little bit of time, to see who's going to get these camp invites. And some of them are invites. Most of them are invites or tryouts at this point, not rewarding full contracts. They want to get you into camp, get a look at you, maybe take you throughout the entire training camp and see if you can make a roster spot in that point. But some of them are just tryouts. Just come in, show us what you got, and if we need you, we'll give you a call. But moving on, this is the point. This is the part that I've been looking forward to all season. You're starting to see these season wrap-ups come along. Alternative Football Panel, I almost said Alternative Football Network, AFP got stuck, did our own super fans. Royce, if this has kind of been your baby a little bit, I kind of helped you a little bit. And I actually enlisted Brahma Bay because she knows a lot of these people. If you want to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, so
I make some adjustments.
I did work with XFL Mike G, supplied a lot of these pictures, so thanks to him and for obviously the people here on the screen. We've got three of these cards going to them. So Brahma Babe is definitely one. So what I did to make these cards, I basically took a image of a UFL football, blew it up as the background. I thought that was a pretty cool look. And then worked with Mike on who do we want from each team. We did, of course, Matty Ice is there with the Storm Squad. That was pretty cool. We've got a few. I think I did, 12, about several. I tried to get one from each team. Didn't get every team, but I did have a couple for the Gamblers, Predator couple, and Sneege. And then I think we had, Joker Wild, obviously Rig Rocker. So he's kind of covered two cards there. Same guy, but different personalities. Then we got Brahma Bro. And then for the Renegades, we've got the Los Benditos.
Aww.
They're awesome. So, and then for the Battlehawks, I had a few different ones. Amira, who is another, she promotes female fandom for sure. So she's great. And then Jedi Master Battlehawk and Excalibur for the Battlehawks are huge super fans up there too. So, DC. DC has Lemon Guy, and then we had Beer Snake Defender and Doug Defender both. So wanted to give them, they just do such a good job of promoting their teams, and all of you guys do. It's super fun as fans to see people get so into the game that their whole personality becomes the game, so I love it. I think we've got one or two more maybe. There we go. So there is Tiger War Eagle for the Stallions, and of course Brahmasita for the Kings now, which I just made that card right before the show, so that's cool.
Making a tear come to my eye.
Well, thank
I
you.
want to say, go ahead, guys. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, thank you. I was not expecting that at all. I mean, as such a new fan, like that makes you feel good.
You earned it. It's pretty fun. I mean, from a fan's perspective, to see super fans, it's just encouraging. I love all that you guys do, and I know Mike does. Mike's a huge super fan, so it's pretty cool.
Well, because I love what having sat with games on them, I went to one road game with them. To see their enthusiasm and their spirit and their knowledge of the game needs to be spread across the UFL. Cheer when your team has the ball, but not when they're actually running their offense. As soon as the whistle starts, stop, be quiet. And Jackie was notorious for having her sign, quiet please, offense at work. And those are some of the things that these newer fans who are newer to the game might need to learn. When to cheer, when not to cheer. And I hope that spreads. And I hope that Brahma Babe continues to do what she does, and Jackie gets a little bit more notoriety because to me, what she does for the league is outstanding. And her podcast, Snap Decision, guys, I know they just went on hiatus for the off season, but definitely follow their socials because I'm sure they'll have things coming out during the off season. All right, where are we at, Rich? We did all the super fans already, and I meant to tag some of those people, but Brahma Babe, a lot of those people. Any insight on any of them before we do anything else?
Oh, as far everybody that's up there is so deserving. I mean, it's just a community unlike any other. And when you go into these stadiums, I mean, even when I went to Daytona, Brahma Bro couldn't go. He had to work to support my habit. I was by myself, but I wasn't by myself. I mean, Maddie was there. District Defender was there. These guys didn't think twice. And at that particular game, I had Orlando Storm on, but my DC pals were, embracing. So I've never felt like when you go in that we didn't, care about one another. If something goes negative or somebody starts to be negative towards one of us, people are willing to step up and step in. And, it's just a community like no other. And I think for me in the UFL, we're so close knit. A lot of times that we're welcoming to new super fans as well. And it's not about competition. It's not about, putting this one's down and this other one. It's about coming together for the league and for your teams. And I think sometimes in your major sporting events or other leagues, sometimes it can get a little competitive. And I think because we're not that big at this point, we keep it as a family, and we raise each other up instead of breaking them down.
Yeah, I will say that too, because as a female that has another female friend, like, I love what she does because it's not me. Like, I'm not here to be anybody's kind of role model. Like, I'm not that girl.
You're my role model.
I mean, as far as like, if you want a crazy girl, like, I'm that crazy Hispanic fan. That's me. Like, I'm not trying to be like, little girl, you gotta be like, no, I'm just a crazy fan, period. So I love what she does because it's not me. And I love that I get to just like, I saw that from the beginning and seeing where she's at now. That's why I call her royalty. She's UFL royalty at this point. It's not super fan anymore. It's royalty.
Oh, Lord.
And that's what I love about her. And that's what I love about the league too, is that I got to make some really great girlfriends and family, really, because there was no competition about who's a better super fan or anything. Like, I just was glad that I had another lady with me that was just as crazy as I was. Like, we were shaking our butts and singing and doing all kinds of crazy stuff together. So I think that was the best part about it, is that I found other ladies that were just like me, and I didn't care what their status was. I just was happy to have football girls, though.
Hey, Mike, that thing you wanted me to bring up, that it's up now.
All right. Okay. I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. Hey, guys, it's
Zom Fox.
Thank you for joining us. I messed that up. I completely messed that up because I totally forgot about it. Zom Fox, thank you for joining us on our last episode of the UFL season, but not last episode of the Alternative Football Panel. Another one that was on the field and got to take in some of this. Zom, if you just bring us up to date a little quick, what was your experience like on the field at the championship game?
Pre-game, not much. I got there pretty late because of the traffic. Thank you, UFC Freedom 250. Thank you, United Bowl, and thank you, Capitals, or not the Capitals, the Nationals having a bobblehead giveaway. But I was able to get, yes, I am Callie Wood. My goat, this guy, the legend, got his cup.
Oh, Shevchikov, yeah.
I thought he was going to kiss the picture or something. That's what I thought.
I didn't get to go on the field too long pregame, so I missed out on seeing Big Mike and all that. But halftime was able to go on the field. You were supposed to get like these little blue wristbands, and I just was like, media pass, and got in. So I was able to get into that. And that was pretty cool. I got like a selfie with Russ Brandon. I just took my picture with him in the background.
Over the shoulder selfie?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's a selfie.
The post game was really cool. Being able to go on there for the championship celebration was really cool. Was able to ask Antonio Greer about him winning the title and all that, and getting the video stuff. That was the coolest part. Was the actual trophy presentation was really cool. They like didn't fully tell where you were supposed to go because the whole stadium was a bit weird because of the home team and the like real home team. So it was like they didn't say anything, and then we just had to figure it out. But it was definitely a really cool experience going on the field there.
Nice. And the game itself, you had fun?
Yeah, I mean, to me, it was a lot like the 23 USFL title game. It felt like almost the exact same, where it was very, very, very evident that the Kings were the clear-cut better team, but it was still a super close game. It's like that Mahler Stallions game. The Stallions were clearly the better team, yet it ended up being a one-score game because, Pittsburgh and DC both just found a way to stay in it. Yeah. Both teams had like that one huge play. Like I know Royce, you remember the Sagapalu fumble return, and then like there was the penalty that took it back. Just like how you had that huge rush early in the game, and then it got punched out by Louisville. So like they felt almost identical. So it was a really solid game. Hell of a lot better than that 24 title game I went to, which man. Hey, you know what though? I got to watch Chase Garber's sell a championship in real time. So that was a fun time. But the game was
That did we.
hey, Chase Garbers.
You just killed 3 Brahma fans.
That is the name. That is the name that will not be spoken.
I'm triggered right now. I am so
I am too.
triggered.
Hey, that
Like,
was,
you
that was
have no
I was
idea.
sidelined, like, I think
How
it
do
was
I
the
mute his
first-
mic again?
I only
Hold
did it
on.
Twice. I think it was the first time where he clearly was throwing to save himself. I think I was on that sideline, and like the first down marker was like from if I'm here, it's like right here, and I just see him run like 3 yards out of bounds. I'm like, what are you doing? Oh, it's terrible. But speaking of seeing it, from where I was sitting, I was able to see that Shannon Harris challenge hold like from where I sat. Man, he really shouldn't. That was a bad challenge. Like even from where I was sitting, it was an obvious hold. So that was the biggest thing from actually being there is I could tell that hold from a mile away. Like it was so obvious because the dude's hand is like in front of me and I'm on the sideline. So like he's holding. And so that was a really bad challenge by Shannon Harris. That was a really bad one. Almost in bad respects the week prior, but
I think his problem with that challenge was he was like, we're all being like touchy and we're all getting into it, and it's like you're not calling it for them, so that's why I think he did it.
At least in the stadium, it felt like he didn't really want to challenge it, but like he dropped it, so he was forced to. At least that's how I thought it was, because I think he realized at some point, like, man, this was a bad challenge.
Yes.
No, and I'm glad you brought that up, Jackie. If you want to make a comment on that before I put my comment on that.
Yeah, that's
Go ahead.
literally what I heard them say while we were there at the stadium. Is I was watching the screen, he threw it, and then he changed his mind, and the ref said, "You already threw it. If you don't challenge it, you lose it anyway." So he was forced to just say what he had to say because he was going to lose it regardless.
Yep.
Yeah, on the broadcast, it seemed like he was trying to get the ref to bail him out. Like, hey, is that something we can challenge while he's dropping the flag? And they went, no, you can't. And he went, okay, never mind. But it's going to cost you a timeout. Well, challenge it anyway, So it felt like he was waiting for the refs to kind of be like, oh, challenge that, or you can't challenge that, which is something in the past. It's kind of been during the regular season, I should say. It was some kind of, they assisted the coaches a little bit, but this was a championship game. Yeah. I don't think he should have dropped that flag. And I don't remember, it might have cost him some points. Zom, do you remember if it cost him some points in the end?
In what, that game?
Yeah.
Well, I think that game. I don't think it, because it was at the midfield. It was, I think that was when they kicked the 60-yarder, wasn't it? Or it was around that time?
It was around that time.
It was, because it was a lot like the Anthony Beck challenge. Like, because I know if anyone saw my video, the reason I hated the Anthony Beck challenge is you weren't going to benefit anything from it anyway. And that was the same thing there. Like, you weren't getting a touchdown if you got it correct. You were just getting in better field goal range. So it was a really weird challenge. Like, even if he could have challenged it, it's like you really weren't like gaining a ton of with that one. So, but hey, you had Maverick Gray and he got you a 4-point field goal. I mean, he was incredible. He was probably the best player on the field across either team.
Yeah, as a coach, I wouldn't super challenge unless it was directly affecting a score. If it's we're going to score, they're going to score, that's the only time, me personally, that I would use that challenge. But yeah, and that was something that we had kind of brushed. We didn't really talk too much about the game. We're more excited about our guests and their adventures there. And Zom was on the field with them as well. So it seems like, half the people on the screen went to the game? Jeez. Fear of missing out big time, guys. All right. Anything else? My battery may die here in a minute. So if we could kind of speed through this last part, but we can keep talking until it does, guys. Anything else you want to talk about? Anything else we need to bring up here? Oh, we're going to talk about the picks, guys. The picks. So if you missed it last week, I made my big reveal by guaranteeing a Kings win by picking the DC Defenders. And as you can see, only 3 of us got that correct. Zom went 3-0 in the playoffs. So after finishing at 500, he was able to rally and get 3-0 and get every single pick in the playoffs correct. So congratulations to Zom for that. Anybody else want to talk about their pick or how they feel about the game? Because we're just kind of freewheeling this one. It's the last show of the UFL season, so let's just go with it.
I feel like it's like when school's over, it's like summer break starting. That's what it feels like.
Exactly.
I'll say my piece real quick. I just thought it was such a good game that it was hard to fault. Like, I was pulling for DC because I picked them, but I can't complain about the Kings winning that game. They're such a good team. It's such a good unit, coached by such a good guy. How do you really? I mean, you can't knock that. It was such a well played game overall, and they're such a solid unit of guys playing all for the same goal. I don't know. It was awesome.
I think if you really want to start a rivalry, then the Friday when the season starts, they need to run it back and have DC go to Louisville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that too. Now that these new teams have played these other teams, we're going to start building these rivalries and getting different fans to go to different markets. And then that is going to build up the hype. That's going to build up the TV attendance. So I'm super excited about this time of year, even though we're headed towards the end of the season. To me, it's nothing but a bright future ahead for the UFL. I'm very excited for the direction of this league and where it's headed. The move to smaller venues, the TV audience growing, and I can't wait to see the TV numbers for this game. I think it's going to be tremendous. I think it might be the best, highest rated game of the year. Obviously, it should be for the championship game, but anyway, go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
Why do I keep getting balloons when I lift my finger? What is going on there?
It's your birthday. It's leftover birthday balloons.
No, I was going to add too with what Rick said about having DC come back with Louisville. Yes, y'all put marbles in your mouth. First of all, it's Louisville. But anyways, I was there for the Kings' very first home win against DC. And, having seen that game and the way that they played each other, and that win and how, in the back of my mind, my dog did pick the DC Defenders, and that's okay. That's why I went and I rooted for them. But seeing that game when DC lost to Louisville in Louisville and they won that first home game, typically, we got this whole you can't beat a team 3 times in a row or 3 times, that you play. I know it wasn't a row, but there was an energy there seeing those two teams play that was still there in that championship. And I think that we will get that again if we were to, like Rick said, open up with those two teams again, because that stadium, when they got that win against DC and Louisville that week, was absolutely off the charts. So I think, maybe the league needs to look at this and take maybe those two teams that play in the ship or in the bowl and then have them reunite on the opening week for the next season, especially these two. I think there's something there with those two.
Definitely on to something. I like that idea. Rapoli, we know you're watching. Make it happen.
Yeah, and honestly, Rapoli has that energy about him where he would do something like that.
Yeah.
I want to add in something I want to see change for next year, and you guys can
go ahead, man.
Too. Obviously, we saw Orlando play DC three consecutive times.
Yeah.
Right. We saw the Kings play DC 3 times, not consecutively, but that's something that definitely needs to change next year. No, undoubtedly needs to change. They had it. It's a fairly newer teams with the going on with the 3 new teams, newer league ish, but that's something that's kind of just unacceptable at this point.
Yeah, because there was 8 separate instances of these back-to-back games.
Yeah.
Columbus had 3 of them. Orlando, Louisville also had Louisville against Orlando twice. I agree. Those, there were a couple really good second games, but it was it doesn't feel authentic. There's a reason the NFL always does, every year it's I know the NFC South does this every year where the second or the third to last week and then the last week they play each other, but the second to last week isn't the same one.
Right.
And even what was it? The Bears Lions 2 years ago had 2 games in 11 days, but even then they had a game in between that was against a different team. That was definitely something I didn't like about this year was those back-to-back games, and I don't think I saw anyone that liked them.
Orlando also did Birmingham back-to-back.
Yeah, I think those were back-to-back. Yeah.
What, this year?
And people forget that these teams, not only do they play each other, but they scrimmage together, and they've been scrimmaging each other since the beginning of the season, since the preseason. So it's familiarity breeds contempt. These guys love to hate each other, but Zom is right. You need to split that up, and it makes it a little bit more difficult when you don't have divisions or conferences to put them at the beginning or the end of the season. And hopefully with expansion, we'll see some adjustments to that. And the fact that this next schedule shouldn't be thrown together at the very last second.
Yes.
They'll get some, as soon as they get their MLS and their NWSL schedules for these venues, get that schedule out. Start putting your rivalries together now, and then find dates for them later.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys.
We don't have to worry about World Cup for another 100 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Messi just tied Miroslav Klose for the most goals ever at the World Cup. But my biggest issue with the UFL for this upcoming year is they need to be more transparent. I'm going to be honest, I still don't know what the Super Challenge rules are anymore. The rule used to be you could challenge anything, and you got 2 of them in a game if you got the first one right. They never announced any change that I ever found. They never announced it and never even put it in the rule book. And then they mysteriously got rid of the second challenge, never said anything, and apparently got rid of the pre-snap challenge, even though they, again, never said that. That's something that's you can't do that. That's a huge rule, and then nobody knows what it is. Even the coaches don't know. What was it, week 1 or 2? 3 of the coaches thought that they had a second challenge. It seems like they just changed the rules and never told anyone about them, which I can't believe they did that.
Yeah, I'll kind of go off of that too, because I was very surprised that they changed a rule mid-season after, playing against Orlando. And then the next game, it literally happened again, and all of a sudden it changed because the rule changed. And I'm like, how was that fair? Why would we do that? So yeah, I can get the rule. They need to get that together too and be more transparent with the rules, because even that, switching it right mid-season, I felt that's not fair.
I also loved how funny it was, because Royce, weren't you the one that pointed out that that thing had happened before, right, where a team automatically scored? Yet everybody was so shocked at it, but it happened before, right?
Yep. Yeah, that happened with the Showboats Stallions before. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
To think the Kings used to be this 2 years ago.
That's right.
And now look at them. They're champions.
Hey, I will say this to back off of what Mike said. I would have loved to be on that plane going back from DC to Arlington with Louisville, who just won, and DC, who just lost. There has to be some film footage of that.
Yeah. Maybe in that last 4th and goal, we'll see some of that, because that's the stuff that dreams are made of, man. You got to see that craziness when you're on a freaking plane together. I mean, they split the buses, but when you're on a plane together after these, I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I would like to see, and I don't know if this is possible, but I would like to see training camp a little bit longer. Not excessive, but a little bit longer, because I've always said with this league, you don't really see these teams gelling until week 3.5, 4.
Mm-hmm.
Because somebody asked me, I think week 2, what I thought about the Aviators and the Kings, and, they were doing so poorly. And I was like, look, we're in week 2. I said, you're going to see a totally different league by week 4. And I think that if we had a little bit more time in training camp to get these guys a little bit well suited, a little bit more gelling, we get a better first half of the season. Because, we don't have 18 games. We've got 10 games that we're working with this. And by week 4, by week 5, you're starting to see that cohesion happening. You're starting to see the coaches know their players a little bit better. Even though they're in training camp, it's a way different vibe than when you're on that field game day. So I would hope that maybe they would consider making our training camp for the league a little bit longer to give more time.
Yeah, I'll throw this out. I think what we need to worry about for the UFL, we need to look, as weird as it sounds, we need to keep our eyes on Major League Baseball. Because right now, it's shaping up. There might be a strike. And if there's a strike and it cancels a chunk of the season, you have Fox, you have ESPN, who are going to want coverage. And they might say, hey, you need to move your season up because we need to fill up these time spots. So I think whatever happens with Major League Baseball is going to really direct where they schedule everything for the UFL next year.
Great point. Yeah.
Did you mean
And hopefully
strike?
it'll.
I know you meant strike, not pun intended, but that was kind of funny.
But I hope if they do strike, man, we better gain a bunch of fans that are suddenly football fans because baseball's out. I would love to see that because honestly, the UFL is so fun that I can't believe so many people miss out on this league. It's just a shame because to me, it is more fun than the NFL. Even it's more fun than baseball, basketball. I don't know. I know Zom is an all sports guy, but to me, the UFL is the best brand of football out there. I love it.
Well, then if baseball goes on strike, you guys, some of these teams and their well, this team's playing when the time we're playing, they won't have that to go off of now.
Yep.
I will say. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead.
Okay, not to cut you off, but to cut you off a little bit, my battery is dying. I've had issues with my phone, so I'm going to do a wrap up, and then we'll just talk until it goes off. Guys, thank you so much for being everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. Weird day for me all of a sudden. Thank you to our guests, Brahma Babe and Jackie, aka 210 Brahmasita. These are our socials. Please give us a like or a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. You can see all of our socials right there on the screen. Guys, we will be going away for about a week or two, but you'll see a new show in its place. It will still be our Alternative Football Panel. It'll have a different host and we'll have different content. We're going to be covering all of alt football after the UFL season. So that's IFL, AAF, CFL, anything else that's going on, we're going to be covering it, but we're going to do it in a loose way. We're going to do it in a way that we're going to bring you up to date on with what's going on in about a week or two chunks instead of a weekly show where we're breaking down every single game, because there's a lot of games, a lot of teams out there. So we'll do it kind of like a review or a recap, either 2 or 4 weeks, and we'll have a different host. We'll be announcing all of that stuff as we go. But guys, anybody else want to add anything else, and then we'll just talk until this thing turns off.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you guys also, because I'll be hopping off also.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for
Thank
joining.
you so much for joining us, Jackie.
Guys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bye, Mama.
All right. If anybody else wants to add anything to it, or are we ready to go? Are we ready to send it home, Rick?
Yeah, I got to go to bed, so I'm good.
All right. Thank you, everybody who watched. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Any one of these social content creators. They're all tremendous. And thank you all, guys, for making this happen. Kind of for me, this was kind of my vision, where I had a lot of people that I've interacted with covering the UFL, the XFL, and the USFL. And I wanted to bring some of their stories in and give a different perspective. Just like this show, we've got people from the East Coast, Texas, all the way out to Portland, Oregon, out there on the West Coast. So I want to bring as much different experiences to this environment as we can. So thank you, everybody, for watching and participating. I'm ready to go, Rick, when you guys are.